regular village council meeting will now come to order. Will everyone stand for the pledge of allegiance to the flag? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Will the clerk call the roll, please?
Shaw.
Here.
Clark.
Here.
Conan.
Here.
Wallach.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Hooper. Here. Elke. Here.
Approval of the agenda. What is the council's wishes?
I make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. At this time, we open up the floor to the citizens. You will have 3 minutes to address.
That's a non-agenda items.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
On non-agenda items, the first one. So if you'd like to address the council at that time, now is the time. Yes, Jeff?
Thank you, Honorable Village board members. I want to thank you for allowing me to come in. You opened up to your chamber an hour ahead to allow me to offer some office hours to citizens if they wanted to come in and talk about issues. As I'm Jeff Yark, I'm the state representative that covers Armada Village. And I said, I appreciate that opportunity. Because for those of you who want to kind of share some of my agenda, I was on the Richmond City Council for 17 years. I'm very familiar with the issue of local. And one of those things that I get very upset about is unfunded mandates for local governments. Very much fighting back on those issues. Fighting for revenue sharing. I understand that the local level is really the level that provides most of the service, police, fire, and so forth, streets and things. So really we need to shore up that piece. So that's a piece I'm working on. Roads also. I'm on the the appropriation subcommittee for transportation. And on that, one of the things I'm working on is moving more money from bureaucracy to roads. And one of those few of those things is we found that there's over 400 positions that are funded in the MDOT that aren't actually filled. Those are the just in case they need them option. And we found that typically they don't fill those positions. So not even half. So we've asked them to not fund those 197 positions and take that money and actually put that into roads on the front end. I also didn't know until I got to the state that the MDOT has 5 airplanes. And we're looking at the logs, we're not sure that they need 5 airplanes. So we've asked them to sell 2 of them, which is hopefully going to start a discussion. Actually, there's other state agencies that have airplanes. And that's the other thing we're talking about is having a work group and say, do we need all these airplanes or can we just have one state aviation division, what have you. So we're looking at those things, trying to get more roads, more money to local government for roads, revenue sharing for services. Because I definitely appreciate local government having been there, for 17 years.
Should MDOT be forced to travel the roads, maybe?
Pardon?
Should MDOT be forced to travel the roads?
Or drive their own cars.
Maybe they'll appreciate it.
Maybe they'll appreciate it.
They're flying, that's the problem.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. If anybody, I will be staying for the meeting to hear things, and if anybody has any questions after the meeting, I'll be available. Thank you.
Thank you.
sir.
Michelle, I did see one other car broken down with a blown out tire on I-94 by the airport.
Oh.
From a Chuck Hole
Oh,
and MDOT.
well,
You know,
there you
that'll
go.
be great.
Anyone else in the audience like to address? If not, we're going to move on. No presentations tonight. Administrative reports. F&B is here and your department.
Chris is here, so I'll just turn it over to him for synopsis.
During the month of March, we had a pretty busy month. Our average flow for the month was 239 gallons a day with a maximum influent flow of 725,000 gallons. That was on the 30th of March. There's kind of a new section in the administrative report called action items. There's going to be a lot of repetitious things in there until I get answers or we agree or discuss. There are a couple things in this that I would like to bring up this evening. Mr. Dennis Ryan, our compliance officer for the DEQ, the storm drain out back behind the plant. During the S2 study, the engineer said it was like 85% clogged and that there was pooling when the storm water would go down the driveway and go through the drain out to the creek. He wanted a maintenance log on it. I spoke to Ed, and he said several years ago there was a fix done on it, but there has been no maintenance done on it because you can't get to it with all the great big fallen trees. We kind of talked and suggested that maybe getting Pardon Tree Service to give us a proposal on coming out and removing all them trees just to show Mr. Dennis Ryan that we're striving to try to fix this and then fix it with the S2 or the SRF loan when we get it. Don't know how you guys feel about that, but it might keep them off our back for a little while. As you know, in March, we had the Colonial Street lift station, we had both pumps there. Well, first time, it's kind of repetitious, they came out, they pulled the one pump, the windings are bad in the motor, there was oil in the water, or water in the oil, the impeller was seized up, the pump was bad. That was on a Thursday, and the following Monday, we got another emergency call for high level. We knew we had no more pumps left, we immediately called a septic hauler out to come out. And once Jet came out and pulled the pump, as I said before, a loop of rags had sucked up into the impeller and sucked the power cord up. When they removed it, we looked at it, it is chewed up pretty bad. We put electrical tape around it, and I made the decision at that time, which is not how I would normally do things, to get a pump in there at that moment so we didn't take a chance flooding any basements. I would like to try to see if you guys, how you would like to handle that, if you would like to just approve that pump and have them come out and finish putting in the VFD, mounting it, installing it, and getting it totally buttoned up. Right now we're renting it. Steve had the paperwork. I should have put it in the thing, I forgot to. The total price for the pump, VFD, the installation, the emergency calls is, or not the emergency calls, is for the pump and the VFD and the installation. I want to say off the top of my head, $7,600 something. And then the two emergency calls are close to $3,000. I didn't know if we wanted to combine them, two issues into one big maintenance and capital maintenance, or split them up and put the emergency call outs on the maintenance cap if we do decide to approve to keep that pump in there.
Can you get me paperwork so we can have, everybody have something to look at? So we
Okay, you don't have it no more?
I don't.
Okay, I'll get it, okay, yeah, I can get it again.
So for the next meeting that we can take care of it. And again,
Because I think they're charging like $500 a month rent.
yeah, which goes towards the purchase.
They're not gonna charge you any rent
Right, if you buy it.
Good, yes. Like I said, we've almost used up the $15,000 maintenance allowance. When I come in with this report next month, when it's a month further, we'll be at or above 15,000 without the emergency calls being added from Jet onto it, which are close to $3,000. One, I mean, not 3,000, one was 900 and something, and the other one was 1,300 and something. So a little over $2,000.
Joe, I guess I'll get with you to see what's the best way to, I mean, it's all gotta be paid, but I guess which pocket or what, you put it into, or which.
I know that's not normally how we do business, we usually get 3 quotes, but I did not want to back any houses up, and after seeing that cord chewed up on that pump like that, I didn't know if it would last for a day, for a year, or...
What is the maintenance cap?
Yeah,
What's
June
your-
30th.
June 30th.
We got 2 months left, basically, yeah.
Middle of the year.
Only thing I can think of off the top of my head without looking at the computerized maintenance management systems, I gotta have somebody come out and do preventative maintenance on the new condenser unit just to keep the warranty good. We just had the lift station factored out. On March 21st, we replaced all 5 floats in the main wet well at the treatment plant. We had 2 of them go bad. Them type of things, usually if they're put in at the same time, which I'm not 100% sure if they were, but when one starts going bad, they all start going bad. So while we were in there, we just replaced all 5 of them. And we talked about jet. I did submit a letter to Mr. Dennis Ryan. He wanted another letter. He complimented the lawyer on his letter that he sent about the grease incidents and the actions that we're taking to mitigate the situation from reoccurring. Steve talked to Lance today about getting another meeting set up just to visually inspect and look again to make sure that everything is in place so it won't happen again. We had a lot of emergency call-outs, 6 of them total. 3 of them were for high flow alarms, and 3 of them were for the lift station. Or 2 of them were for the lift station, and 1 of them was on the 19th of March. We had a ghost alarm. This was, I say a ghost alarm because I went home for the day on a Saturday. No more than got home, got the channel 1 alarm to come back, came all the way back, nothing, no alarm on the PLC. Since we have changed the floats, we have not had another one of them kind of alarm, so I'm thinking it had something to do with that.
Hopefully with the SRF, we can take care of some kind of system so you know when you get an alarm, just what it is.
Because like I said, we have to come back.
I know. And you have a long drive.
Because we don't know if it's still high flows or if there's actually something broke.
Right.
We don't want to pollute the creek, so. I think that is about all I have. If anybody have any questions for me?
I'll get with you about going over and seeing Lance and Joe. I'll get with you. See how we want to get about a couple of days, and then you get me the paperwork for the pumps and everything, and we'll put it on the agenda for the next meeting to take care of that at the lift station.
We didn't get a check for the second.
Pardon that?
We didn't get a check for the second billing, right?
No, that just went out. That one I just got for, because it took a while to catch up with the hours. We wanted to verify the hours that they had down at the plant, and it took a while to catch up to it. Becky said she had just sent that out within the last day or 2.
That way it was all on one bill and it wasn't, one bill presented and then, oh yeah, and there was this, and then we added
Right.
this. It's just more
Flows better.
Send it all.
It's gonna be the factory and all the hours that, that will be put in.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
See, odor coming from there. From the plant, yeah.
From the sewer plant?
Pardon?
Sewer plant
Or
or
the source plant, it's coming from the source plant, even to my house, it's getting pretty bad.
Really?
Yes, and it needs to,
Okay, we'll look
Resolve. I don't
into
know.
it. I don't know.
It's not the SBRs, unless it's sludge storage tanks, but they're going to be getting land applied anytime, so.
Well, we'll look into it, but,
yeah, I don't know what part of it is doing, but they're kind of, as far as my house, it gets really bad.
okay,
So if you're looking, I appreciate it.
okay, cool. Thank you, Chris.
No problem. You guys have a great evening, and I will get with you tomorrow if you'll be around. I can get all that stuff.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Anything else, Dave? Anything else, Steve?
No, I'm all set.
You have your treasurer's report in your packet. Any other liaison reports?
Yes, have a good evening.
You too, bye Chris.
Take care.
No other liaison reports, so we'll move to...
Well, I'd like to say that the concerts the summer concerts schedule is posted. So we start June 14th, we run till August 9th, and we have the potluck on July 5th. So the schedule is, there's some in the village hall here, and I posted on Facebook. It's around town. If you need one, call the office, I'll make sure you get one.
I just want to tell everybody the website's live.
Oh, yay.
It's also on the website. So, check it out. Same address, www.villageofarmada.org.
Very nice.
Very good, thank you. General business, approval of the regular council meeting minutes of April the 10th. What is the council's wishes and payment of bills?
President, I'll move the consent agenda be accepted as presented.
Second?
Who'd I hear first?
I don't know who you live
Everyone always hears me.
You gotta yell, Mike.
Stand up and yell. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. There's no old business tonight. New business, we will be moving now into public hearing to consider the adoption of special assessment. Resolution number 3, confirming a special assessment role for the purpose of defraying police protection costs in the village of Armada Police Special Assessment District. And that will be now at 7:18. We need a motion?
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing at 7:18.
Second.
I didn't hear the second.
That was
Oh,
Coleman,
Coleman, okay.
yeah.
All right, any further discussion? If not,
Right. Cooper,
Yes.
Conan.
Yes.
I'm not used to doing those two together. Shaw,
Yes.
Clark,
Yes.
Bullock,
yes,
Baylor,
Yes.
Pelkey. Yes.
motion carried. Okay, at this time, the public hearing is now open. You have 3 minutes to address your questions to the council, and we will not take immediate action on this until after the public hearing is closed. So, anybody would like to address the council at this time? Mr. Ruby.
First of all, when I was here last week, I misspoke. I want to correct myself, so that everyone knows. I said last time I was here that two things. First of all, that it was illegal for a community over 500 people to not have law enforcement. I tried to find that. I can no longer locate it. Becky tried finding it. I referred to Steve's office. He tried to find it, couldn't find it, right?
When we looked up the law,
Yeah.
we found that the village has the authority to have a police department,
Well,
but
mandated.
it wasn't mandated.
It used to be, I know, I think it was the Uniform Traffic Code or the Motor Vehicle Code. I went back, looked at it, there's a whole lot of sections that have been rescinded, it must have been in there. But I know what that, 40 years ago, it was there because I used it. And the same thing also applies to communities that are not adjoining that can contract. Yeah, they can, even non-adjoining communities now under a law that, again, his office looked into, and I contacted East Point. And as crazy as it sounds, the state law, Detroit wanted to do something with Marquette, they can now. Not that I want to want to do that. That being said, so I wanted to correct myself on that, so everyone knows. That being said, I spoke with the chief, and I'm kind of torn on this because my loyalty to the guy, being a former police officer, I have a lot of loyalty to it. By the same token, I also have to stand on some principles. If we don't have principles, we've got nothing. And there's some things that I'm concerned about. One of them is in his lap. And that is the fact that by doing this, all we're doing is holding the state's hand, allowing the state to take away more revenue sharing. This is because of the loss of revenue sharing, as Jeff, brought out so vividly last time. And by the state passing this law long before you were on board, it only makes it worse. All we're doing is we're complicit with it. We're just going along with it, and it just makes it easier for the state to do this. At some point, it has to stop. As a retiree, every time I turn around, I'm getting smacked and smacked, and I'm not getting any more pay increases. It's not sustainable, and it has to somehow end. The other thing is that you said if this were passed, that it can be adjusted, correct? There's three mills, it can be adjusted. It can be adjusted down, it can be adjusted up. Nobody's been talking about the upward adjustment. How high can it go? 10 mils, from what I understand? Move the white back. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, that hasn't been talked about. And that, you know, we've got to be honest with everybody here. And we also have to realize that as I look around this table here, 10 years from now, I doubt that there'll be a single one of you sitting here. The other people here, chances are very likely. Things are going to change, rules are going to change, priorities are going to change. And guess what? As honest as everybody here wants to be and say it won't happen, we can't guarantee what will happen a few years from now. So this is basically writing a blank check. It can go up to 10 mils, and that's not good. We all like to see it go down, but I like to say I'll be 65 years old. I've got 33 years as a cop, 30 plus years in the military. I'm worried about your watch, man. You don't have full pack out. And 8 years sitting at this table. I've got more government service than I've been alive. And nature abhors a vacuum. I doubt we'll ever see it go down. More likely it'll go up. And the other thing is, the people have a right to vote on it, as they should. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm used to walking and talking and teaching. I'm not making me nervous. But when it comes to tax increases, people should have a right to vote on it, regardless. And they do have a right for this to go to a referendum and vote on it. And I think that's the proper path to take on it. This is too serious, it needs to go that way. There's many communities our size, and that's where I started out in law enforcement 40 years ago, working in small departments, that do not have 24/7 protection. KPAC doesn't, Memphis doesn't, you have to gap in the middle of the night. That's very common in communities this size. So rather than say we're going to totally eliminate the police department, it is a very viable alternative you're going to have to look at. Is maybe the middle of the night, there's going to have to be a gap. And when I talked to the chief, we crunched some numbers real quick. Gapping for 4 hours a night for 30 days would be a savings of about $1,500 bucks. I know it's not the type of thing everybody would like to do, but you have to look at all of your alternatives. And I haven't seen that come out here. And again, I just have to say, I have to stand on principle. We have to look at this. All of a sudden this came up, and now all of a sudden this has got to be done. And we didn't just get here suddenly. This has been coming up. So we need to slow down for a second, take a look at this whole thing, okay?
I'm going to have to ask you in 3 minutes or so.
Okay.
Anyone else at this time? Yes, sir. State your name for the record, please.
Gary Audi. Okay. I looked at this and I said to myself, this is a really tough decision for this community. We deserve good policing, and the police department, admittedly, is being run on shoestring. They're very austere. You're going to have to commend them. But the big question is, what about equity? The equity of who pays for police protection. Unfortunately, under mutual aid, we cover the township. So what's the solution? This was faced before with the fire department. The fire district was created. Why can't a public safety district encompassing the township be created? I know there have been other alternatives, merging with other communities, going to sheriff's department and contracting with them. But that's like going to a buffet. You don't eat everything at the buffet. You pick and choose. So we could end up paying for the Marine Division, part of it, if we went with the Sheriff's Department. I would suggest that we look at either a police district or a combined public safety district, which like you'll find in Mount Fraser. They're combined public safety. That way, the township would not mooch off us. Now, the 50 cents a day or less coverage, that's not even a cup of coffee. And we deserve good police protection. And I have no problem paying for it. I know that it's going to go up. The question is, who's going to pay? I would say the best way to look at it is, why not have the recipients of these services pay for it? And that's why I propose a public safety district or an alternative, a police district encompassing the entire township. That's how I look at it. You know, $175 a year, it's not a lot. But if we have economy of scale by incorporating the other people who are receiving the benefits, if we have the economy of scale of that encompassing the entire township, bigger police department, better police department, better equipped police department. So that's how I look at it. Present district being restricted to the village, I object to. The entire township, that I believe is the plan for the future. Sooner or later, it may not be in any of our lifetimes, the township will no longer be a township. It will become a city or a charter township. It's just inevitable. I mean, we've been here 37 years and we've seen population double. Well, what's going to happen in the next 37 years? Population is exploding. And we need to address the future. So I say, police district. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Your name for the record, please.
Carmelo Patero. Like Terry, I'm a former police officer. I did not realize, well, the last time we were here a month ago, I was very for this increase. I didn't realize that it could go up to 10 mils. And that's what I'm scared about too. I'm very pro-police. I believe we need a police department in this town. I've been lucky, I'm not lucky, I've been fortunate that I never had to call the cops for anything in any area, even when I was working down in Shelby Township. But on the other hand, when I worked down there, and Terry might be able to back me on this or agree with me, when we're running short down there, we're asking other departments to help us out, which is shorting that department's. I feel that we need the protection here, of course, definitely. I would want it if I knew someone was going to break into my house. I'd rather call the police and, you know, fire a couple rounds at him going through the door. I don't want to. I've never had to shoot my gun before. I don't want to do it again. I believe a police millage should be voted by the people, just so everybody would agree or disagree with the police department, with having a police department. I guess I am torn between this. I did not realize that it could go up that high, just by saying, hey, we need another 2 mils this year, and then another 2 mils, you know, following year, or we need to take it right up to 10 mils right now. You know, I don't have a problem paying, you know, $175 a year. No issue with that. I don't want to really see it go really that high. I'm glad Terry investigated this, but on the other hand, if the millage does not pass, or you know, that does not go through, and the police department's disband, it's going to cost more for the sheriff's department to come in here, a whole lot more. And you're going to be lucky to have one patrol guy in here 24 hours a day. They might not even be in here 24 hours a day.
They won't be here. They already told
No,
us they could not be here.
no, they will not be. I know. State police have been already cut out at the north end of this area because no one wanted to pay state police, so they're gone. You have a few county cars out here, which I see a lot. I even see them coming through my subdivision. I don't know if they live in the live in the village or not, but like I said, I'm torn between it. I think a millage, instead of just saying, hey, let's do 3.5 and to see how that works. And I agree with these other folks here, it'll never go down, never go down. Inflation will never allow it to go down. Wages go up, things cost more, gas will cost more, cars will cost more, insurance will cost more, everything like that. So I believe, I kind of agree with Terry here with, let's do some kind of a millage vote. Let the people decide. I think you'll get it. I think a lot of people in this area are pro-police. I'm hoping. That's about it. That's,
Thank you.
yeah.
Anyone else? Sir?
Janet Audi. The term mutual aid is really not true with what we've been doing for so many decades. Mutual aid means we both benefit somewhere down the line. The township is not providing us any benefit at all. And they're just using us and using us. I really think this should go to a referendum and let people have a choice to see what they want. And I believe we need police protection, and I want to see it local. I don't want to see it go to the sheriff's department. It's nice having local people who know what's going on and can be behind all of us whenever we need it. So I really think this should go to a referendum. And also, the thought of going to 10 mills is pretty scary based on what we're already paying for other services. So, thank you.
Thank you. Sir?
Greg Updike.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
Greg Updike.
Okay.
Technically, for this part, I'll actually have taxation without representation because I own property in the village, but I don't live in the village. So it'll actually be taxing me on something that I'm not allowed to vote on. But as for I'm still trying to figure out the mutual part of the agreement that you have with the township, because I live in the township, and I've called the township a couple times, and some of my properties are close here, and I've been told they will not respond. Period. I've got to do one or two things, either call the state police or make a phone call to a personal friend of mine who works for the state police to show up at the house. So I'm still trying to figure out that whole entire mutual agreement part that you were talking about, because I haven't seen that. It's always been just the opposite. They absolutely positively refuse. So, as for the $175 a year, with the recent fire department shenanigans, it's already costing me almost $600 a year on that alone. So now we're looking at almost $800 total. And I think that there probably are better ways to do this, i.e., as he mentioned, also go to more of a, not necessarily police, but definitely a public safety issue with combining with the township. Because some of the back talk that I was hearing from when they actually did the fire department one, they also own property down at 33 Romeo Plank, and he's looking at putting up another fire station there. So you'll actually have both sides of the township covered at that point. And in agreement with the other two, here from officers, it should actually be put up to public referendum and all the public to vote on it. And I mean, it's not so much that I'm pro-police because I spent time over in Afghanistan and good lessons. But at the same time, there are efficiencies that can be pulled, you know. From that, that's about it.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
One more time? Yeah.
Let's clarify a couple of things. We have, my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, we have no mutual aid with the township. Period. Never have, probably never will, given the environment. Our cars here do respond out there on occasions. I've talked to the chief about it, I've asked him. And he's pretty, like most of the communities around here, kind of strict on what the car goes out of the village on. Because that was one of my areas of concern. That they don't go out for things that the sheriff department or the state police should be handling, that their responsibility. Because if they get hurt out there or they have to drop the hammer on somebody, we're going to eat the liability on it. So, you know, we pay taxes here in the village for that car to stay here, so we don't like it going outside the village. And yeah, we've been taken advantage of sometimes, but the chief is pretty much kind of riding herd on that and making sure that doesn't happen too often. I know some of the other neighboring communities have the same problem, they've done the same thing. At one point, there was an attempt to form a authority, a North Jurisdictional Authority.
On numerous points.
Yeah, and it just, between all the infighting and everything else, it never went through. It just didn't work, probably never will. And my understanding was the sheriff department that gave up the north end of the county, and that's why.
Was
we-
it? Oh, I thought it was the state police.
No, the state police, I think, are
What was it?
stronger up here now because it was the county that,
Then I,
yeah, backed off. You'll see them on occasion going back and forth to the court or something like that, but it's mostly the state police up here. now.
okay.
Just to clarify a couple things, I know you guys have to be careful on what you can say.
Thanks, Eric.
Well, the other thing I'm also kind of curious about is if you're saying that the police chief doesn't want them on town, why is the K-9 unit sit in front of Lake Street only? For special events?
That's what
Because I've seen them over there for several weekends.
Yes, I'd like to have a motion at this time to go on a public hearing.
Also move.
What time?
8, what is it, 38?
7:30.
7:38.
7:38, yes.
I'll second.
By Cooper,
This doesn't work.
any discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. No nays, I haven't heard any. We have a resolution here prepared. What is the council's wishes on that?
I make a motion to adopt special assessment resolution number 3, confirming the special assessment role for the purpose of defraying police protection costs in the Armada Village Police Special Assessment District, and directing further proceedings for the collection and distribution of the special assessment levy on the taxable value of all lands and premises in the district.
Support. Support?
Support.
Been moved and supported? The motion? Any further discussion?
I would like it to be known that we have no intention of ever going to 10 mills. That is not, there should be no.
No, I can.
Can I touch on this? I don't think this was Terry's intention, but his comments gave the impression that by this action tonight, this council has the free will to go up to 10 mills, and that is absolutely not correct. This is a year-by-year analysis done on the costs that are incurred to provide police protection in the district. It will be done annually. There will be notice given. I'm assuming there will be a public hearing. So this will not be done just because of the action tonight. Every year, in order to establish the police protection costs to be offset by the special assessment, there will be procedural safeguards so that the public will know. Now again, does the public have to be vigilant, make sure that they show up for that and understand what those costs would be? But I just want to make clear that this action tonight does not allow this council to go to 10 mills at its discretion. That is absolutely not the situation. With regards, I agree with Mr. Audi in principle with regard to the economies of scale, a larger district. And as one of the people brought up, I mean, at one time, I think we were negotiating with 5 or 6 communities at one time. I can't remember which chief it was.
It's Deborah and Joe G.
But I mean, he was meeting regularly and spent, I know, a tremendous amount of time trying to link together a coalition of communities, which makes a lot of sense. That absolutely went nowhere.
I spent hours, yeah.
You know, and unfortunately, you know, with many things, when you have the asset, when you have the department, and you've made the financial commitment to have a police department, it's very hard to get someone else to buy into that, an outsider that has for many, many years accepted a lesser level of police services. So I'm not saying that we shouldn't explore that, and I think it's always a good idea to do that, but I want to again say that we've tried. I mean,
We've explored
multiple,
probably 5 times
yeah.
with the township. They do not want police coverage they have to pay anything for. We tried to work with them. Joe G did.
Howard did.
Ross Belkey
Howard.
spent hours working, trying to work out something with them. Chief Howard tried to work with them.
at our cost. They refuse to work with anything, and where there is no mutual aid, you're absolutely correct. We go out there on an emergency basis. So if you hit
Only
a
if you're
deer,
dispatched.
and you hit a deer, you want somebody there, we will not go. You'll wait 2 or 3 hours for the state police. It's only because your township will not pay for that service.
When the
We've offered to do it, they refuse. So your question would be to go to your township representatives there. Another thing, I think you gotta understand, and all you people that are here, I know you're vigilant at looking at what your village tax is. And you know it's gone way down the last 5 or 6 years. I know I look at it vigilantly. Now, to that to come back up, it can't just come back up with your property values going up because some acts that limit that increase.
Right.
But as that increases, then there'll be less need for this. And that's what our hope is, that eventually we won't be doing this. We'll be right back where we were before. And also with you, Mr. Yarrow, you know, they're up there bragging and lancing how they want to give everybody a tax break, and I'm all for that. But you know, they told us that Detroit got cut $867 million over this time period. And how much did we get cut? Do you remember, Curtis?
Your property taxes?
No, how much
Revenue
sharing?
I mean, it's been about $30,000 or so.
You know, so it would be nice if they considered giving some of the communities the money that they took away from us.
Right.
And you did kind of hit on that very quickly.
And
Pretty
Dave,
serious for us.
Dave, I just want to add one other thing. You know, I think the concern was, I'm paying more. In Michigan, you are not paying more in property taxes. I passed out a sheet. It wasn't prepared by anybody on this council. It was done by Cranes Detroit. I don't think Mr. and Mrs. Audi were here. And they went community by community, and they looked at, has your community recovered? And they looked at property values from 2008 to 2016. And Armada Township, which includes the village, what was it, I think 20%. We're 20% below what the taxable value that we could tax on from 2006. So in other words, your taxable value in 2016 was 20% below what your taxable value was in 2008. What does that mean for us? It means we are not able to generate revenue on the same properties. We have less money, and this council has been more or less conservatively trying to get through that. But proposal late caps, what Dave was saying, the point he was making is, these property values have rebounded. Your assessed values in the village are going up. That's meaningless for our revenue. Our basis is off taxable value, and we're capped at the rate of inflation. So the rate of inflation this year is 0.97%. In other words, we're not even getting a 1% increase in taxable value. So I understand it's always great to say, government's taking out money out of my pocket. I'm telling you right now, if you look at, it's not us, it was Cranes, and I'll get the article and pass it out. We're happy to get it to you. You can look it up online. We're 20% below what we were taxing in 2006. So I don't think the argument necessarily holds true here. Now again, if you have millages go up and things like that, of course, that changes. But this, like I said, we're living off of less money, quite frankly. And one other point I just want to make, we've looked at this for a good period of time. It's one thing to look at police, and obviously that's the focal point here. That's the largest part of our budget. But it all, I guess, Joe, and you would agree, it's not just police. I mean, if we do not have additional revenues, everything fails. Your streets aren't going to get repaired, So literally, to keep this operation afloat, we have to have more revenue. We can put it to the voters. We can ask people to politely, do this, do that, but at the end of the day, We need more revenue. I don't care how you get it. No offense to our person from Lansing, I don't think they're coming in and historically, in the last 10 years, they have not been friendly to municipalities. That's the reality. Discretionary revenue has been cut dramatically, and it's been historical and it's documented. Another thing I passed out at the last meeting, I think Michigan is ranked last of every state in the country. We are ranked last in revenue growth for municipalities, dead last. So again, I think it's great to look at other options. Wonderful, we're willing to do it, but the problem we have to solve is immediately, guys. Our general fund is taking a huge hit. We can't live off general fund any longer. That's it. I mean, it's not pretty. I wish we could sugarcoat it and say we can continue to do that, but yeah, it's your community. You have to decide, but if you want police, we have to have more money. That's the bottom line.
I do know from having sat over in Sherry's seat over there for 8 years, everybody up here, Dave is one of the biggest supporters of trying to pinch the pennies here. I understand that, I get that, I know that. So I've seen it and understood it. So don't anybody think that, I'm calling you out, and I know what it's been like and how hard everyone's tried to get every little thing out of the budget. But it doesn't, as Jeff was saying, it goes back to Lansing. Huge out there. You're a newbie.
Okay, good thing.
One of the other things I'd like to point out though is your little dissension about the whole entire cap part of it, because when a house sells, the cap gets removed, and it actually goes for what the market value of the house is.
But that's true, but you see a lot of houses turning over here that are gonna fund what we have to collect to run. It's just not gonna happen.
The houses on either side of mine recently sold, the one for over 140, the other for about 100. The one down the street from me that they just put up, I'm guessing they're probably gonna be assessing somewhere around 150 to 180. So, I mean,
Yeah, but you're talking a drop in the bucket. We're raising $134,000. That, the revenue generated on that increase are becoming uncapped. There's no way you'd have to sell 300 homes. I mean, it's just not realistic to say that is gonna happen in the short term. It's just not. You're right, but it's not gonna solve the problem.
And Terry, to your concern about them not being here, I said that exact same speech when the DDA was put in, standing in front of the council at that time and said, because they could impose a 2 mil increase on the DDA district. I'm a resident of the DDA district, and I thought, no way, you can't, you're gonna make my taxes higher. So I had a big argument. I said those exact words, and they've stuck to their guns and never did it. I mean, so there is some, granted, Dave's still here. Steve's still here. Lyle's still here. But I mean, there are people that believe very strongly in not putting that type of burden onto the public.
Well, and actually, at the last public hearing, there was a suggestion that we jump to the at least 8.5, which covers the whole thing. This council was reluctant to do that because we are approaching it as conservatively as we can. So, and historically, even against my recommendations, we have never jumped onto a millage and raised a tax millage. And from what we can search back, at least 50 years.
Yeah, can't find one.
I looked at it, so I know.
Yeah, so I think it's going to stay an item that will stay out to the public, to the people.
We gotta do this every year.
Up to them.
But by the way, this Sunday's newspaper, a list of all the pending bills that were just introduced in Lansing, SB 313, if it applies this, it looks like it does, is going to put a sunshine law into effect. 2024, going to put a sunshine law in special assessment districts for police. I tried looking up tonight on the internet. It was just put out on April 20th, so it's not even out of committee or anything yet. SB 313. So maybe something you're going to have to keep an eyeball on.
Jeff, you'd like to have a comment at this time, too?
I would, if possible, since a lot of people talked about Lansing.
Sure.
I want to share one thing, it would make a point. I was on city council for 17 years, I left there in December. I get it. The reason I'm in Lansing is because I get it. Understand It wasn't my goal to go to Lansing. It's because people said you understand revenue sharing, you understand road funding, and you understand how local government has not been treated well by the state. So I get it. I want to make this clear. I understand what's happening. And I am fighting for local government. And when you talk about the personal income tax cut that was discussed, I was not initially supportive of my caucus until my leadership understood that where I hold the line is revenue sharing. Because I understand that every time the state wants to cut the budget and they don't know where else to cut, it ends up being local government. That is my line in the sand. And I made it very clear when I did vote to support the personal income tax, because there's a feeling that we gave a lot of cuts to business and that we should give a cut to personal income. And that's reasonable. Also though, but I fought for the fact that local government can't be the place that we cut. And we need to cut state government. So I just want to assure that I understand proposed lay, I understand head lay, all those pieces. So I just wanted, because there was comments about Lansing and that mentality. That is why I'm in Lansing, because I realize that local government has not been treated well by state government over the years. And I'm fighting that local and state, that we are partners in service to our citizens. That it's not local here, state here, and federal here. I appreciate those points that you make and how local government has really suffered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we're going to call for the roll call, please.
Cooper?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Baylor?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Belkey? Yes. Shaw?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Wolock?
Yes. Okay, motion carried. Next is to consider the Metro Act unilateral permit application from Macomb County Educational Telecommunications Consortium.
It was a mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Mouthful.
Don't put it on there next time.
I'm going to refer to Jeff on these. We've got two. They're a little bit different, but I'm going to refer to Jeff on this.
So, as many of you know, I think we've had one Metro Act approved in the last year. This one's a little bit unique. This was done through the MISD of Macomb County, Macomb Intermediate, and their partner on this is the county of Macomb. They originally put a lot of these facilities for telecommunications under a franchise way back when, and then when the law changed and the Metro Act came in, that franchise is now expired and they need to apply to get a Metro Act permit to continue on operating this. This is an educational fiber that I believe serves the schools, and MISD kind of spearheads that effort. So we reviewed this, we vetted it. It took quite a while. There was many fits and starts on MISD's end of it, but they finally did get everything that we needed. Our recommendation is to approve this. Upon approval, this will be sent to Lansing, and it will be added to our map, and we will generate a Metro Act fee based on the amount of lineal footage that they have. So we do derive a little bit of revenue from the telecommunications facilities that are existing. So that's basically the first one that's for your consideration.
So is this additional wires on our poles in town, or?
This one has actually been in place. They did it before through if you recall way back when.
Fiber tech.
Yeah. Well, they used to install these and have to get a local franchise.
Right.
The telecommunication industry said, this is nuts. I'm going to run this line from here to Lapeer, and I have to get 7 communities to approve it. So in Lansing, they came back and they said, no, that doesn't make sense. We will provide a Metro Act. So they no longer have to get franchises, Sherry. They basically just have to get our Metro Act approval, and that's all this is. And like I said, once this is added to our map, we derive revenue from it. These facilities are, I believe, largely already in place, and it is fiber. The Metro Act covers fiber in the ground, not necessarily. The next one's a little bit different.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
one is.
I was gonna have the same question after my
Yeah.
slide.
Yeah.
So we just need a motion on this one.
Okay, Councilman.
Mr. President, I'll resolve to approve the application by the Macomb Educational Telecommunications Consortium for a Metro Act permit and authorize the village president to sign the right-of-way telecommunications permit on behalf of the village.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, the next one, the applicant, which is KEPS Technologies, doing business as ACDNet, they had a pending Metro Act application. They've withdrawn that at this point. Their original application was a little bit different, Sherry. This was one where they were actually proposing to put up their own poles.
They wanted to put up poles.
And we weren't, and we obviously told them we were not in favor of that. So what they've come back and they said, look, we are going to proceed to contact DTE and co-locate on existing poles, which is much more preferable. But they want some assurance in the form of a letter that the village would be agreeable to allowing them to do that. We, Michelle and I have talked about it. We've checked with our consultant that does a lot of this work, and we're all comfortable with co-location on existing poles. They'll attach a little antenna that allows them then, they'll run the fiber, and then the antennas will be active and broadcast from the antennas. But there will be no additional poles in the village right away.
Where does
But
the
they-
fiber run? Is it
Yeah, they're gonna
underground?
bury
It's
the
in the right,
fiber.
yes, in the right of way, yep.
So there'd be a lot of digging in the community?
No, it's in the right of way. This is a little premature day because we don't have the new application. So all they're asking council tonight is, would you be receptive to us doing co-location? And if so, then they'll start the process with DTE. We're not the only community that they're gonna run this line through. So they're trying to make sure there's no hiccups along the route that they want to do.
Now, this is for education now.
No, the first one was. This would be, obviously, they run these lines on behalf of clients, so it's telecommunications, your Sprint, your...
Right.
Jeff, when they get to an intersection, would they bore under? They wouldn't cut through our street, would they?
Yeah, that's my concern. I don't want
Yeah,
them
we
cutting
get
through
these
any
streets
road.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the plans and specifications.
Well, that-
We're only proceeding with communications, we're not approving any point.
Yeah, Lyle, they will have to apply for the Metro Act. We get a route permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're required to give us a route permit because that again tells us where the locations are gonna be. They would provide us with what poles they're locating on, and we would obviously. So all tonight, the only consideration for council is, are we agreeable to co-location? I think, Michelle, we feel there's no reason, it's far preferable to additional poles being put up in the community.
Right.
But as far as a route map and things like that, obviously that will come once they
Do
apply.
you know what our current load capacity is on our existing poles? I mean, are we close to capacity? Can we handle
That's
additional?
DTE.
That's DTE.
There's DTE, yeah, the DTE.
If DTE says, no, we're not gonna do it, then they're
Okay, so they haven't gone to DTE
No,
then?
and
They're
they
just-
don't want us to put the time and effort in if we're not agreeable to co-location. Like I said, our big concern is we did not want a bunch of monopoles going up
Right.
in addition to the poles.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
visually, and
Right.
it's just not the right, some of these, not this particular one, but I've seen other applications where they'll put these in neighborhoods, and that's just not anything I think we're
Right.
interested in.
Correct.
Well, Mr. President, I'll move to resolve to authorize the village clerk to proceed with communications with KEPS Technologies Incorporated, doing business as ACD.net, regarding proposed co-location of telecommunication facilities on existing utility poles.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Sewer plant.
Well, at this point, I have not received any information for the grid work that was to be done down at the plant, so I will contact them and see where my stuff is.
So we will draw it back for next meeting? then?
Yes.
Street sweeper repair. Let me stop.
3 times fast.
Ed has given me some estimate of our street sweeper. And did you just get a copy of that?
Yeah.
All right, you have that in front of you, and until they get into it, it's possibly looking at around $1,600. So what is the council's wishes?
Is that just an estimate, Omar?
Yes. I think
It's a quote.
something that we need anyhow.
Yeah, I've seen the guys
They
sweeping
need it.
uptown.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
need
They've
it.
been doing it by hand here, especially on Main Street too, so.
And this Bell Equipment is the only one that does it. That's where we got
Yeah.
the machine from.
Okay.
Is that Dave Powers, is that Irish, is that the Dave Farmina?
I don't think so.
Mr. President, I'll resolve to accept quotes from Bell Equipment Company in the not to exceed amount of $1,605 to repair the street sweeper.
I'll second.
Moved and supported. Pardon me?
Clark.
Oh, by Clark, okay, I can't hear good here. That's the reason.
If that's running.
Yeah, the air conditioner. All right, so we're gonna have a roll call on this.
Ballard?
Yes.
Clark?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Conan?
Yes.
Wallach?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Pelkey? Yes.
Motion carried. Any up and coming agenda items?
Sewer plant stuff.
We always in the sewer.
Is that the
plant?
Edding sewer plant stuff?
Stuff. Yep. It was actually, I think, issues.
Sewer
I think I
plant
said
crap or
issues.
something?
No pun intended.
Yeah, sewer crap.
And this time also, it's again open for citizen comments. Did you have any more, sir? Council comments at this time? No council comments?
Mr. President,
Yes.
on our present tax and special assessment district, the public still has a referendum period where they can petition the council for referendum. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
And now, anything else on community events? All right. There's no closed session tonight. And at this time, it's been proper for adjourn.
The time's 8:03. I make the motion to adjourn.
Support?
Motion to support also. What is council's wishes?
Aye.
Aye.